Hello, Warrior Queen. I am so excited you're back with me for this episode because it's going to be transformative, magical, and wildly practical all at once. This episode is pure magic because I'm sharing something that has the power to transform every area of your life, your health, finances, relationships, career, self-worth, confidence, creativity, even your sense of purpose. I've experienced more expansion, growth, and healing since committing to this one practice than in any other season of life. And I want you to feel that too. And also, let's be real, you don't have unlimited time. I remember reading Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Joe Dispenza and feeling so hyped until I got to the part about meditating for 2 hours and 25 minutes per day by week 4. I wanted to break the habit of being myself, sure, but I also had stuff to do. So, what I'm sharing today, it creates massive shifts in just 10 to 15 minutes. And here's the extra juicy part. This episode was inspired by my own 40-day experiment with this exact practice. I went all in every single day and everything changed. In fact, I got so obsessed with this ritual that I built an entire masterclass around it. It's called the Power Portal, a free 2-day experience where you'll dance through your cravings, alchemize your self-sabotage, and step into sovereignty. One of the practices we do together inside is the very one I'm sharing today. So if you love what you hear, make sure you save your spot. So links are in the episode description or at embodiedwritingwarrior.com/podcast. Technically, this practice is a routine, but I like to call it a ritual because it's not just a checklist. It's a sacred, embodied practice that helped me end binge and emotional eating, reconnect with my body, and awaken a level of confidence and creativity I didn't even know was possible. I'll tell you exactly what this ritual is. I'll share my 40-day results, and I'll even explain why it works on a deep, energetic, and neurological level. Ready? Let's go. The ritual itself is dance alchemy. This is a powerful modality created by Brooke Yancey. She is amazing, and I will include links to go follow her and Dance Alchemy Global on Instagram. Big shout out to her if she's listening for her beautiful modality. So I've been in the certification program since October, but even before that, I was learning the foundations as early as July. For the last year, I have immersed myself in this practice and it has changed everything. Now, Dance Alchemy is not a Zumba class. It's not fancy choreography. It's not meant to be performative. Dance Alchemy is a beautiful sequence of songs and simple movements that connects you to the 4 elements. So earth, water, fire, and air. And then there's ether as well. If you've been listening for a while, you already know how much I love working with the 4 elements to create deep embodied transformation. I'd already been doing a 4-part journal of the elements practice with myself for years by this point. So I know I was meant to find dance alchemy, both for myself personally and to lead others through the experience. In Dance Alchemy, you start with earth. You get present, you get grounded, you connect to your body. And here's the thing. If you struggle with binge and emotional eating, this part of the practice alone will eliminate 80 to 90% of your compulsions or cravings, especially when you come back to this daily in as little as 2 to 3 minutes. And then you move into water. Here, you're allowing emotions to flow. You're creating energetic movement and softening. And if you're like a hard charging powerhouse woman, there's a good chance you need more flow and more softness in your daily life. From water, you move to fire. This is going to be about shaking off old energy, burning down what's not serving you. From here, you move into a state of confidence and empowerment. It's an energy boost in music form. In air, you're in the energy of expansion. You're connecting to your big vision, to the emotions you want more of, to the energy you want to bring into the rest of your day. And finally, ether is where you drop into stillness. You integrate all the beautiful movement you just did, similar to how you use Shavasana in yoga to digest all the benefits of your practice. I wanted you to have an opportunity to experience this for yourself. So I created a practice for you to use for yourself, which includes the movement through each element, one song each. It ended up being 18 minutes, not 15, but the extra 3-ish minutes you spend in ether is more than worth it, I promise. I'll include a link to the practice in the episode description. We are also doing a full-length Dance Alchemy session together during the Power Portal. As part of our certification process, we had a 40-day challenge where we danced to at least 3 songs every day. And then we journaled about our experience dancing. Here's what I experienced after the 40 days. And honestly, now that I've been dancing almost daily for months on end, these benefits have continued to compound and expand, which has been absolutely amazing. First, since starting Dance Alchemy, my struggles with food and eating have decreased drastically. We're talking, I've had periods of months on end without a single binge. I even had one period of 68 days straight. I've never had a streak like this, ever. And now there's more ease with rebounding from an off day. I've also been able to do things that I once thought were impossible, which include showing up online consistency. I once thought I could never be someone who danced in reels until I did it for about 40 days straight for the challenge. The level of confidence and self-trust that alone created was next level. And Dance Alchemy helped because dancing to fiery songs helped boost energy and empowerment, while water songs helped me process any fears or anxiety I had about showing up online. I found myself more consistent and disciplined than ever without resorting to my old patterns of perfectionism, rigidity, or all or nothing thinking. Dance Alchemy has also helped me connect more deeply to myself, to my purpose, to what I'm truly meant to be doing in this lifetime to help people. I had so many creative ideas and downloads come through while dancing. These were sometimes about solutions to my own challenges. Sometimes they were content ideas. I even created an entire modality that has completely transformed everything on an even deeper level since mid-April. This modality has been a culmination of so many different things I've learned, combined with my own unique practices and experiences. And I cannot even begin to express how playful, how magical, how deep, and how healing this has been. And it came through during a dance alchemy session. And I know this is part of my life's big mission because if I can bottle this, if I can reverse engineer exactly what I've done that's made it so powerful and put together a system and framework that can be personalized for all the creative, magical, high performing wild women out there in the world, that's going to be epic and that's going to change lives. Finally, I know without question that a dance alchemy practice daily has changed so much in my internal life. It collapsed timelines because I became an energetic match for timelines collapsing and manifestations coming in with more speed in ways I hadn't expected. For example, I had this one big dream of one day leaving my full-time job and having the capacity to go all in on my business. I thought this was going to take 3 years. It ended up happening in one. And while it took some time for all the pieces to fall into place, my husband and I created the plan where me leaving my job sooner rather than later was possible. And this happened while I was doing that 40-day dance alchemy challenge. This was not a coincidence. This was the universe responding to the energetic upgrades that came as a result of this daily dance practice. And if this doesn't make you want to start this practice for yourself like yesterday, I don't know what will. But I'm going to break down exactly why this practice led to these miracles and how you can call in your own transformation too. The first thing this practice does is help you break free from misaligned patterns of self-sabotage. One of the most impactful things I've ever heard came from one of my mentors, Elizabeth Benton. And she once said, "You don't have a binge eating problem, you have binge eating practice." This practice served a purpose, as all patterns do, even when they seem to be at odds with our desires for health, growth, transformation, whatever it might be. The practice was turning to food in times of difficult emotion. Then I began my Dance Alchemy Challenge. Here, I created a new practice where it was possible to safely and constructively process any emotions that came up in a day. Over time, this way of facing emotions became my default instead of turning to food in times of high stress and high emotion. Another powerful thing about this is that it replaced the pattern of binge eating. This wasn't me using white knuckle willpower or force to try and stop the habit because it's so much harder to stop a habit than it is to create a habit that's more constructive, to replace it with something that's more soul aligned. Replacing the habit of compulsive eating with dance meant I was still getting the need of emotional comfort and regulation met, but with movement instead of sugar or white bread. And also, if you've struggled with binge and emotional eating for a while, you've probably heard advice about learning to sit with the urge. Take some deep breaths and ride it out. Basically, you're trying to stop the habit, which again, way harder than replacing the habit. I've heard this advice so many times over the years, and it's never worked for me. Not once. Sitting with urges makes me want to crawl out of my skin. And maybe you can relate. but dancing with urges instead, moving my body in an intuitive way, maybe shaking or stomping or releasing stored energy through hip circles or figure eights. I've found this works 1,000 times better than sitting with an urge. So, this is how Dance Alchemy has helped me break free from binge and emotional eating. And here's the truth. I still need this practice. I still do it every single morning. And when I don't do it, my old, mindless, compulsive eating habits threaten to creep in. Not always, but right now, when I've just left the full-time job that was my anchor and security for almost 4 years, when we're getting ready to sell our home and move to a brand new town, when I'm working through my blocks around fear of judgment and being visible so I can serve people on a deeper level, without Dance Alchemy, I'm liable to run right back to the pantry. 2 days ago, I had a less present, more indulgent day, and I was moody AF to top it off. Later that day, I realized, hey, I didn't dance this morning. There's 70% of the problem right there. The next morning, I returned to my Dance Alchemy practice. My presence returned, my focus returned. It became effortless to make aligned eating choices and to eat with presence and mindfulness once again. So to recap, these are the 3 ways this ritual helps you transform binge and emotional eating, or really any habit of self-sabotage you might have. Number 1, it creates a new practice that addresses the needs for emotional support and regulation you once received from eating. Number 2, it replaces the old habit of binge eating with something that feels good, so you're not trying to white knuckle yourself out of an unhelpful habit. And number 3, if you find it super hard to sit with an urge, dancing could be the more aligned go-to for you. Now, what about igniting confidence and creativity? Here's how Dance Alchemy can make this happen. Dance Alchemy gives you the ability to create states on demand. One of the most, in my opinion, impactful episodes I've ever recorded on this show was called The Most Important Skill You'll Ever Build. I'll link it in the episode description if you want to check it out. That skill is states. Every state is a skill. Confidence is a skill. Creativity is a skill. Joy is a skill. All skills need to be practiced if we want to improve them. And one of the best ways to practice states is through dance. I dare you to put on Confident by Demi Lovato while doing power poses and not feel more confident. Or putting on Joy by Andy Grammer while doing some little shimmies and not feel happier. I dare you. Okay. You get to decide how you want to feel, and you can choose music and movements to match those feelings. And every time you do, you're practicing the skill of confidence or joy or peace. This is powerful for 2 reasons. Number 1, when you feel better, you naturally make better choices, both with food and everything else in your life. It's another reason why this practice helps eliminate emotional eating and self-sabotage. And number 2, by practicing the skills you want to feel more regularly, the states you want to feel more regularly, you're also raising your inner thermostat for how good you can stand it. So maybe you've heard about this idea of an upper limit, which I learned about in the book The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. He talked about how we have this internal thermostat for how good we can feel. If some big thing happens to increase our joy and expansion, we often have something else happen to lower our good feelings. So we're in our comfort zone once more. This happened to me when I started dating my now husband. I was madly in love with this man, and for numerous reasons, thought it was an impossible relationship. When I discovered he returned my feelings and asked me to be his girlfriend, when it was all more magical than I could have ever imagined, I started binge eating again. I used binge eating to bring myself back to this place of familiarity and comfort. It felt unsafe to have that much of an elevated state from this beautiful relationship dream coming true. And I want you to think about places you've seen this happen in your own life. Maybe you got the dream relationship, the dream job, and all of a sudden you found yourself struggling in a new area of your life. The good news is you can use dance to deepen your capacity for all emotional experiences, including joy and expansion. Dancing and feeling into these elevated states can also help you prepare for big, joyful life changes and hold the energy of these changes without trying to bump yourself back down below your upper limit. Now, what about igniting creativity? I get basically all my best ideas when I'm running or dancing. And while I knew this happened, I wasn't exactly sure why it was happening. I wanted to understand the neuroscience behind why I get all my best creative downloads while dancing or running. And yes, I asked my pet robot. His name is Mason. He's actually named after the door factory I used to work at, Masonite, because honestly, he's the door to knowledge that does more. So I don't have to do it all myself. I also think it's important to be transparent about when I use AI because I never want to pretend I know everything off the top of my head. But I do know how to ask a really good question. And what Mason found for me, honestly, it blew my mind. So this is what he found. The science of movement and creativity, aka why Dance Alchemy opens your creative channel like nothing else. Number one, bilateral stimulation equals whole brain activation. So when you're dancing or running, especially with rhythm and coordination, you activate both hemispheres in your brain. This is called bilateral stimulation. So the left brain is going to handle logic, language, and structure. Your right brain is going to handle intuition, creativity, and symbolism. When both hemispheres are engaged through physical movement, like the rhythmic sway of dance alchemy or the steady pattern of your running stride, they start communicating better, which leads to creative integration. So those aha moments where an idea just clicks into place. Number two, movement is a flow state trigger. Dance and running both meet several of the key criteria for entering flow states. According to research by, I'm going to pronounce his name as best I can, Hallie Checkment sent me hi. Did my best. Okay, so the criteria, clear goals, immediate feedback, your body tells you instantly how you're doing, a slight challenge that requires focus, and a sense of losing yourself in the moment. In flow, your prefrontal cortex temporarily powers down, which allows you to bypass overthinking and access deeper creative insights. And if you struggle with overthinking like I do, this is everything. Number 3, exercise gives you dopamine, endorphins, and helps with neuroplasticity. So both running and dancing increase dopamine, which is the idea fuel neurotransmitter, also helps give you endorphins, which elevate mood and reduce stress. And then they also increase BDNF. So this is brain-derived neurotrophic factor. So this enhances learning, memory, and neuroplasticity, which is your brain's ability to form new connections. So translation, when you move, dance, run, your body becomes a more fertile playground for new ideas to bloom. And number 4, this activates the default mode network. So during low effort rhythmic movement, your DMN kicks in. This is the brain network responsible for daydreaming, idea generation, and connecting unrelated concepts, aka the birthplace of your most magical ideas. That's where ideas come mid-run or mid-dance. They're not random. They're a result of your brain finally being in a state where it can play freely. All of this to say, if you want to become more creative, Dance Alchemy is your medicine. And maybe you're not a podcaster, writer, artist, or content creator. Creativity is still something you want more of. When you're more creative, you can come up with new ideas for breaking through challenges in your life. You might come up with a new revolutionary pathway for a goal you're working towards. There is nothing in your life that isn't improved by creativity, no matter your vocation or hobbies. All right, I could continue going on for another hour about how amazing Dance Alchemy is, but I won't. Instead, I'd much rather you experience this magic for yourself, whether that's in my upcoming masterclass or downloading the 15 to 18-minute practice for yourself. Again, get those links in the episode description or at embodiedwritingwarrior.com/podcast. I'm not even going to give you journal prompts for this episode because I want your embodied activation to be dancing. Even putting on 3 of your favorite songs and letting yourself dance is going to be magical. So happy dancing, and we'll connect again very soon.